The Huntsman Winter's War is a prequel, sequel, middle-quel, something-quel to Snow White and the Huntsman, a movie that I liked more than most. I think it was a visually stunning movie with some good action sequences, but it didn't have very much replay value, unfortunately, when I watched it a second time. This film is directed by the visual effects supervisor on the first film, and this one's about the Huntsman, Chris Hemsworth, who's out on a mission to find the evil mirror because it's evil and it does bad things to people. It convinces them to kill themselves and their friends. He's joined by Jessica Chastain, who he shares a forbidden love with because the evil queen Freya, played by Emily Blunt, has completely forbade love in her kingdom. Now, as I said, I like the first one a little more than most people, so I can understand why the majority would think that this sequel is completely unnecessary, because most people were disappointed by that first movie and felt that that movie was even a little bit unnecessary. But out of all the characters in that first film, I had the most fun with the Huntsman character, played by Chris Hemsworth, so it was kind of interesting to see where he would go. It was a natural progression in my mind to see where that character could go. Unfortunately, he's not going anywhere interesting or compelling, because this movie is pretty messy and boring, to be honest. Which is unfortunate, because there's so much they could do with this story. There's so much fun that could be had. And you could tell they were trying to go for a Princess Bride vibe sometimes. Very swashbuckling, romance, adventure, swordplay, weird creatures in the wilderness. And sometimes it works. There are some good action scenes. The one I enjoyed the most being this bar brawl that was all sound effects and no music. It felt very intense because of that choice, and I liked it. But as a film, this goes nowhere, really. It starts off with Emily Blunt's character and her sister, played by Charlize Theron, having this tragedy occur, and then she turns into this evil queen that can summon ice out of her fingers. She wants to steal everyone's young, make them her own army, thus making sure that no one else in her kingdom is happy so long as she isn't happy. And her character and her performance. Oh man, I feel bad saying this. I love Emily Blunt. I think she's one of my favorite actresses, actually, but she was very bad in this movie. Her performance reminded me of Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending. A lot of slow, methodical talking with occasional outbursts. It just really didn't work, and it started to grate on my nerves after a while. Also, the excuse for why Charlize Theron's character returns, there was really no attempt to explain how. It was just like, we need Charlize Theron. Can you reprise your role? Yes, okay, great. You were amazing in Fury Road. Please come back. Oh, you're come back? Okay, cool. Now just put her in the movie somehow. And since Kristen Stewart was smart enough to not sign on for this movie, they use a body double for her, and they constantly refer to her character, but they never show her character except from behind with this body double that you just know is not her. And so there really is no way you can get invested in that part of the story, because you never see Snow White. They just keep talking about her because Kristen Stewart was like, no, I'm not going to do this movie. The thing I liked the most about this movie was the camaraderie between the Huntsman character and two dwarves, as well as two female dwarves. There was some good humor there. They did try to inject humor in this movie. They tried to make it fun. They were going for a bit of a Princess Bride vibe, I felt anyway. And sometimes it did work. Sometimes I did chuckle a few times. There are a few okay action sequences, but the story as a whole, from evil queen that is dealing with a tragedy, to Charlize Theron suddenly back, to Snow White who's a body double, to Hemsworth looking for this mirror, to forbidden love, it just didn't really mesh. It was too many things happening at once, and it wasn't very well directed in regards to tone and harnessing tone. It is a good looking movie, and since the director is a visual effects supervisor, I can understand why it would be good looking. And this being his first movie, I give him major kudos for trying hard, but it just doesn't really mesh well. I'm going to give The Huntsman Winter's War a C-. I think if you're a big fan of the Snow White mythos, or the Snow White films, or of course the Snow White and the Huntsman movie, it's worth checking out, maybe, but definitely not in theaters. For everyone else, just skip it and have a nice day. Hopefully you have a nice day, at least. It's nice outside right now, so have a nice day. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.